Hi guys, this is Allison from Alley Creations. How are you? Hi. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. If you get anything from my work, a connect, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment, a new book to read, new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description under the video. And Christmas holidays are coming around. I got cool sculptural paintings, pyramids, all that fun stuff. You can take a gander of what I do on Allylatcreations211.com. You got to look in the different tabs. I have different sections, and you can see a lot of the work up close and personal. Those are just examples. Some of those are up for sale. Some of those I already did, and they're not up for sale, or they're demented and not wholly perfect, which I will still put up for sale, but just know a lot of them are not my standards. They get messies. Anywho, trying to keep some sort of consistency. I did oracle reading. Go check it out for the full moon that is tonight. Happy full moon, folks. And tonight's reading is The Philosophy of War by the Curtises. And this chapter is very important because I'm in it to win a chicken dinner with the divine neutrality, and been listening to a lot of different channelings that I already listened to a while back, but now it's like re-cementing in what I missed out of those channelings and what I really, for my own self, need to focus on in my own journey here. Fun times. Fun times. And it's ridiculously cold here. Real feel is 19. This morning was 13. And don't think I didn't try to get little Thor to come hang out inside. He came to eat inside for like 20 minutes. And he wouldn't go any further from my deck door. He came in and would not go any further. And Morgan was sleeping. And I shut the door so he can roam around and get a sense of the house. And he's been in the house before. Just doesn't want to stay. And this weather freaks me out. Because if he wasn't around last year, I didn't see him. So no idea. Anywho. Permanent peace. Remove my water. God's plan. Let's see what they have to say. I'm excited to read this. Quote, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. End quote. Micah. God's plan. All things come into outer manifestation from that which is within. That's a mic drop moment, like ridiculous. To achieve permanent peace in the world, we must teach the nations of the world that permanent peace is God's plan for the world and man's ultimate destiny. Hence, it is bound to come. But since man has free will to follow his own desires, it is possible to bring about peace quickly or to push it back and go on for ages, suffering the misery of periodic war. So the craziness about what I am discovering and going through so people understand like how hard it is for me right now. It's not easy what I'm being delivered from source, prime creator, whatever you want to call the infinite all, is that source is playing the role in both duals, positive and negative, good and evil. And who the hell am I to judge God having an experience through somebody else and they just happen to be of the negative polarity? Now, take this, because again, this was written World War I. Now think about applying these words to the now, present. Yes, time goes by in a snap and time in his illusion. I get it. But in the same breath, each day keeps speeding up. And that's if you perceive it that way. And we're waiting a while. Things can't be rushed, but at the same time, if we manifest our own destinies and our reality, where is our focus? See the vision. To begin in earnest to work for permanent peace, we must first believe in and reach up to the beatific vision so graphically described by the prophets Isaiah and Micah. Then begin within our own hearts and lives to manifest it. For only as we bring our minds and lives into harmony, oh, that's a big one, with God's plan, can we manifest mentally and bodily harmony here on earth. Oh, wow. And there can be no peace and harmony among nations except as an expression of peace and harmony within the individuals of the nation. Everything they just said is absolutely 100% on target. When we stop calling and plucking and pinning and doing this person, this nation, this religion, that thing, and that thing, we stop pointing fingers. Yes, there is a lot of wrong in our world. But how can you bring peace and harmony when you keep calling everybody names and calling people out? Since God's having an experience through them as well as you, do you really know thyself and the divinity within you? Because I think that's really where a lot of people are stuck in understanding this concept. Things cannot manifest. You'll want all kinds of crazy shit to happen. Good stuff, by the way, right? But peace can't happen. True peace and harmony cannot happen when you're not harmonious in your thoughts and how you feel about other people. Because that hatred is on the other side as well, and they're going to hate you just as much as you hate them, and that leaves us back to square one. The divine plan. Therefore, the individual permanent peace means first the recognition of the divine plan. A realization that 1900 years ago, when the heavens opened up and in the darkness of humanity's mental night, the angels appeared to the simple shepherds and declared, peace on earth, good will toward men. It was not a mere travesty, a utopian dream, never to be materialized. It was the announcement of one more important step toward the fulfillment of the divine plan announced by the prophets of old, in which through all ages has slowly been surely been descending, taking form on earth. because it already existed in heaven. Man's mistake. The mistake mankind has made is in thinking that the angels were proclaiming its full and perfect accomplishment at that time, when even yet it has not come to pass. This is because the race is still manifesting in its 50th day period, and we are told that man must labor through 6 full days, and that only on the 7th day can he rest in ultimate fulfillment. Periods needed. Just as it is required 6 long periods to create the physical earth on which man's physical expression could dwell and manifest to perfection, so must it take 6 periods or days of labor to create man's mental and spiritual dwelling place in which to unfold and fulfill his mental and spiritual destiny. For this, permanent peace is a prime necessity. Without it, he cannot find his rest on the 7th day or survey his creation and say that they are good. War a shock. If this world war today is a shock to our ideals of peace, harmony, and righteousness, think of the shock to the faith of the shepherds when Herod made his bloody war upon the innocent babes so soon after the announcement of the angelic hosts. Also, when Jesus himself, whom they expected to bring peace and goodwill to all the world and restore the kingdom of Israel, was led away to be crucified, and his followers scattered, not one among them standing by him to the end. I don't agree with that, but that's what the book tells you. Hearts must respond. Yet, in spite of all these seeming contradictions and the long delay in the coming of the promised peace, the angels' song was not a mistake. Peace had already been born in the heaven world, hence must inevitably descend to earth in the fullness of time, for it is God's plan for this world. It will descend into manifestation on earth just as soon as the hearts of humanity respond to it. Hi! And give it lodgment in sufficient numbers to express it. Even though humanity has been struggling toward it for 1900 years with seemingly little progress. The angel's song. Just as the birth of the Christ must take place in each heart, the fullness of the Christ can reign on earth, so must the angel's song, which announced the birth, be sung into every heart. Every soul must respond and prepare the conditions in his or her own heart and life, we can hope for permanent peace among the nations of the earth. Banish ignorance. Only as we deal with the world, just as we deal with our own lives, can we obtain permanent peace. As long as darkness, ignorance, and superstition reign in the minds of a majority of mankind, the mind of the world cannot be at peace. Power of thought. Yet such is the creative power of thought that many minds at peace and thinking peace for all mankind, including their own personal enemies, will spread the thought to the minds of others and make it contagious so that we know it war will be done with wherever. What a thought. Only then will we see the swords of the nations turn into plowshares and peaceful pursuits taking the place of war. But as long as a majority of mankind believe that wealth, commerce, power, and worldly position are the things to be striven for, all else, there can be no permanent peace. Hi, everybody. Why hasn't anything manifested in the Nasera Jacera? It might be written in it, but it's not what you think. You calling out, and again, I love the movement I'm in. I love the family that I have taken on and enjoyed to go behind the scenes and make sure a show gets on as many times a week as it needs to be put on. I love my family. I love my brother and my sister, my galactic angelic peoples. But until the language shifts, the hypocrisy, and I can tell you right now, I was marching along with everybody in that bashing. Don't get me wrong, I was right there with you. And then upstairs, bumped me on the head, said, "Wake the fuck up, bitch. You're getting it wrong. It's wrong. Hello, Allison. Hi. Hi. Remember what you are, why you're here." And then my other light bulb went off. Who would have thought? Guys, it will come to many of you, and I hope it does. This is not easy. What I just read is exactly what was shown to me, what upstairs wants me to work on, and it's not easy. This is not easy. It's not easy. You want to point fingers and blame. You want, because there is injustice. There is horrible things going on in the world. This is not something that you should just ignore. But are you freely sucking and giving your energy away and casting spells, because that's all words are, and feeding energy to things that really isn't to our betterment? We need to know about the past, but it's in your wording and how you project it out. You need to use other wording. If you want to point a finger at a group of people who are really not doing the right thing, we need to figure out better ways of expressing that without hatred. It's Prime Creator playing a role through them. Again, Prime Creator is having an experience through us. We are not perfect. We do and say crazy shit, right? But that's source of having an experience through us. We wrote those things in, and these people wrote their stories. So why are we judging source? Why can't we build a world where these things are going to exist, but we're not giving power to it, the wrong power? There's a lot of ego, unrealized, unknowing ego that's still lingering on. And we're right at the moment of purge. We need to get all this stuff out of us. All of it. Where we go one, we go all. And I keep saying this, but it's not sticking in some people's minds who watch me. And I love you, and I'm giving you compassion and grace because it will eventually stick. I promise it will. Don't be the cool kid. Don't be the cool kid in the chat. I say hi to everybody that I can. I come in and out. And when I start seeing the hypocrisy and the hatred, I have to move myself out because I am not feeding that energy. I'm trying to feed peace and God's plan on this planet. That's my role. That is my absolute one of my missions. I have many missions, we all do, but one of my major missions is to see this peace and harmonious frequency on this planet. Can't do that if everybody in the chat is feeding the other side. And you're not aware that you are, but you really are. And that's okay. Eventually, when more people are aware of my intentions and they understand what what Source's message through me is, again, I'm just a vehicle, Source is using me, we'll be in a better state to start that harmony and that peace, because it starts here in your heart. Role of wealth and power. While wealth, commerce, power, etc., are inevitable and necessary for a nation's prosperity, they should be the results or byproducts of the nation's obtainments, rather than the ideals for which it strives. Hence, while a nation holds for its ideals such sentiments as, let him take who has the power, let him hold who can, or to the victor belongs the spoils, etc., and forgets that the angel song never be fulfilled until a majority of mankind obeys the first part of the song, namely, glory to God in the highest, peace on earth and goodwill toward mankind. Peace cannot be permanent. Cease resistance. For the underlying mysticism of true peace is oneness of purpose with the divine plan. The ceasing of the resistance of man to the guidance of the divine, a realization that which is created by man's desire and fructified by his power of thought, is the thing which will inevitably manifest in the outer life, both of the individual and the race. I'm looking at everybody. Hi. The Father's will. From the very dawn of creation, when God said, let there be light, and there was light. The great war of the darkness against responding to the light of matter, resisting spirit, man resisting the call of the divine, has been going on. And all war on the physical plane is but the outer manifestation of this mystical inner warfare, which is forever being waged in the invisible side of life. And if we continue to be waged again, and until man learns to do the will of the Father in heaven, on earth, with a little friction and resistance, all is done in heaven. Recognize conditions. Like all malignant diseases, that which is in the blood or in the life stream must come forth into expression in the body. It can be recognized, healed, and fully extracted. And when it breaks out or comes to a definite head, it has already taken the first step toward its cure and eradication from the system. The world diseases. The world today has broken out with the most malignant disease, extreme nationalism, national selfishness, pride and lust for power and supremacy. This disease has been in the blood of humanity in a chronic form for ages. And although it has broken out periodically again and again in various wars and in the horrors of man's inhumanity to man, yet it has never been eradicated from the system, because heretofore mankind has never attacked its cause, but has dealt merely with the symptoms. Spear fingers? Seek for the cure. The present war, however, has broken out, which such terrible malignancy that it has arose the world as never before to the necessity for a permanent cure. no matter what the cost. May we never cease to seek for the cure until it is found. World suffering. Hence, in every nation and country, we find serious efforts being made to diagnose the disease, to seek out its hidden causes and apply the remedy. No more temporizing with symptoms will suffice. It must be a radical cure, for the world today is realizing as never before the universal brotherhood of races, hence that, like parts of the human body, no one nation can be desolated by war and suffer without the whole humanity's family suffering with it. Operation needed. Even those who live in a neutral country cannot hope wholly to escape it, for it is a festering ulcer on the body of humanity and must affect the whole organism. And since the men of the race are occupied in the surgical operation of removing the ulcer with their swords, it is highly time that women of the race not only support them in their effort, but take up the work of permanent cure. Just as the women of Europe are nursing and bringing about the permanent cure of the individual bodies of the wound. The age of Aquarius. I can't sing, sorry guys. Women's mission. This then is women's mission. First, to see the vision of the ideal to be obtained and the reason for its failure to manifest in the past. And second, fearlessly and devotedly, with no thought of the stupendousness of the task, to undertake to bring sanity to the mind of health, to the body of humanity as a whole. Hi, ladies. Hi, many of us that are doing our best. There's many of us. And you're very appreciated. And all of you are. Guys and women, we are all doing our best that we can in the time that we are in right now. It's not easy. And we're being flung a lot of energy. We are being flung a lot of information. And again, going here and understanding thyself, knowing what your heart song is singing and what the divine plan is, knowing how you're divine and how source is working through you, are you really going to understand what this plan really entails? And it's not easy because everybody has their own interpretation at their own frequency of what that looks like. We need to come into harmony in a huge rhythmic scale, right? Because everybody's vibratory state is different. We need to somehow all merge to start manifesting this. And as I'm looking at this next title, I know I'm not going to be happy about it, but let's read. Michael versus the dragon. The Bible tells us that there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought in his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. This has been confused in the minds of many with the descent of Lucifer, meaning the shining one. The light bearer, because of the passages, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. And how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? But the meaning of the two allegories are quite different. I'm going to put a pause right there. Hang on. Okay. So for those of you who are Bible scholars or people that have read, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Morning star. This is a channeling from Archangel Lucifer, who goes by Archangel Hela. Pamela Erlin, I posted on my Telegram 2 channelings she does with other people who channel Yeshua amongst Hillel and Lilith. Really watch that. Watch those channelings. One is really obscenely long, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. And the first one that I posted, holy effing shit. I know, sometimes when I put my hand to the camera, it moves me back. It's like magic, but then it moves me forward. Anywho, why am I mentioning this? This is like the perfect example, because the stories are just allegories in themselves. There's a huge craziness that we need to dispel. FYI to those who know that I'm a part of the Archangel Collective. And I'm going to tell you right now, in a lot of my past lives, this morning star has been helping me and guiding me. Amongst others, him and Yeshua have a very intimate relationship. They can be channeled together and they talk together, and you should hear both of them channeling through other people. It's incredible. And from other people's books, this is just one book and it's an example. It's a good one. Other people that channel him, God chose him to play a role, like we are all playing a role here. He's the adversary. He's here to test us. It's not supposed to be this evil incarnate thing and all this other crap. I'm sorry I'm breaking from the book, but I have no choice. And I'm going to quote from this book, only some things, because you need to hear it. God only loves. Therefore, he does not have opinions nor cares about his creations in the way one would hope. Your free will is your greatest gift, and consequently your greatest curse as well. God does not intervene in life. He only reveals in it. It is I who cares about man. It is I that have the power to teach about life. Of course, this belief in control is a true devil that the soul must fight against. It is not that the devil is not real. It is simply that I am not it. And that the devil is not something outside of you. And I'm jumping around in that. Quote, once you have disciplined yourselves, you can settle into the new normal of eternal truth. Though because the density of this realm is encoded for your forgetfulness, you must stay vigilant lest you return to slumber once more. Know that you will return to sleep occasionally. You must not guilt yourselves about this. It is the nature of this dimension. You will be happy to know that awakening is easier each time that you accomplish it. One day you will no longer sleep. This book is incredible. This book is incredible. There's one quote, though, that I really, really, really wanted to read. That's the one I'm trying to find. Guys, you need to know both your sides. This is another one, but it's not the one I wanted. The new earth is not somewhere that you can arrive to, because it is here now and has never been lost. When you choose stillness, which is a great challenge for you in this realm, but when you don't choose it and allow everything to fall away, when you sit still in the darkness of the void, where there is nothing and no one, where there is no story and nothing to lose and nothing to gain, when you allow yourself to finally surrender all that you are, you will know who you have always been. For in this space of absolute stillness, where you completely cease to be, the only thing left is God. That is what you are. Words from Lucifer. Hi. Hi. Lucifer wrote that. In order to return to God, you must return to yourselves. Within you is the key and the way back to wholeness. It is not and never has been outside of you, but you must descend, not ascend, in order to accomplish this. Before one has accepted the oneness, descension is wrought with fear and resistance. You cannot imagine that the way to God is down. You cannot imagine that the way to yourselves is in, but that is the only way. The descent is easy if you release your resistance. If you realize your judgments of that which is lower or darker, you must embrace the entire spectrum of life in order to fully integrate all polarities and return once again to oneness. Am I making any of the things that I say up about divine neutrality, about knowing both sides, about walking the middle way path? Here is Lucifer's words. That is God telling you how to get to God. Why would he do that if it's Satan? It is challenging for many to embark on this part of the journey. It is easy to accept the love and light of ascension. Ascension is easy. Loving the light is easy. Loving the darkness within the material, the flesh, that is much more difficult for you. But that is what must be done to unleash the true potential of life on this planet. This is what must be done for you to free yourselves of the deep despair that you all feel beneath the accomplishments you achieve by the path of light alone. You know what? Maybe people ignore the fact that they want to say that he's Lucifer, like Lucifer is Satan, because they don't want to deal with the truth of what that looks like. I am never going to find this damn quote. It's so damn good. Jeez Louise. I may have to reread this again. Unfortunately, I need permission to do the heal thing. But those are just clippets. Before we move on in this book, guys, JQ has that book. Whether he read it or not is up for discussion. But he has that book. If you start watching the things that I post on Hillel and Yeshua, you would start to see a whole vast different picture of what has been presented in society, in reality to you about Lucifer. And again, people piggyback off that name as if it's, other organizations and people who are illumined follow that terminology, but eschew his name. It's inversions. A lot of things are. When you actually go into your heart space to connect with the words that are being said and really examine everything and see it for yourself and then feel it, This divine neutrality, I sort of understood it until upstairs really helped me embody it and understand both sides. I don't know what the hell they did to me in my sleep, but I just, and it started registering with me. This is recent. This is not yesterday. This is like a few weeks ago, but it's been in my undertow, starting to rise in me. And then one morning, seriously. And now it's like a nonstop thing because it needs to be seated. So I'm sorry, I'm off tangent, but let's read on. War in heaven. The war in heaven, as we have already said, was the war between spirit and matter. Or matter. In the higher realms. The word heaven being used here to indicate the realms of the higher astral world. Michael is the angel of the sun, S-U-N, from which proceeds the true spiritual creative force, which we call Christ principle. Dragon symbol. The dragon typifies the perverted and degraded creative force, which man has relegated and confined to its expression through the physical creative centers, by whose perversion and degradation he's brought forth all the evil that manifests on the earth today. I don't know if I even believe that. I don't believe that. I mean, it's interpreted from them that way, but here's another thought. Go with me. Pamela has a halal, how Lucifer fell and what that really actually looked like. And unbeknownst to me, when I had that Stargate and I had Terry and Jonathan walk me through meditation to get up to source and then bring my dragon guides down. I have a lot of them. I saw the fall I saw me falling on a dragon coming into materialism through all the layers of density and the matrix and all the numbers and all the layers of everything. Okay, I was in trance. Hello talks about the same type of fall that I was experiencing in that two different things. If God wanted to experience itself in a material form, and we're the ones who wrote the encoding for it, was Lucifer the morning star to help us? And not just Michael and Gabriel and all the archangels, all the other angels. I don't think there was a war. I think there was ego at what they wanted to look like. Because it's a free will system. They had to go through it first. That was more of what the war, in my opinion, looked like. I was there. I just have to remember the full totality of the story. Moving on. The tester, the angel who fell from heaven, like the fearful and devastating force of lightning, is Saturn, the great tester and initiator. Lightning is the result of the bursting forth of the electrical potential stored up in a thundercloud. And as we have said elsewhere, all storms are the result of man's inharmony. Hence, lightning, like Saturn, is both the tester and readjuster, or the bringer to earth of the stored up inharmony resulting from man's disobedience and resistance to the divine law. The adversary. Yet Saturn is neither man's enemy nor the devil, as he is so often miscalled. but is the adversary in the sense of forcing man to realization of his disobedience and participating the karmic results upon him. Yet, like lightning, Till's precipitation is the only way to dissipate the old karma and purify the atmosphere of the soul. Lucifer. On the other hand, Lucifer, son of the morning, is a symbol of the necessary descent of the Christ principle to earth, that it may clothe itself in matter and by its manifestation in the dense expression uplift, spiritualize, and redeem matter. What did I just say? Two allegories. In these two allegories, we have not only the explanation of the war in heaven, but of every war that has ever raged on earth or within the heart of men, whether of actual slaughter and bloodshed, mental struggle and warfare, or any other form of man's inharmony, which wars against God's perfect plan of creation, perfect peace. Yes, but I think a missing element in all of this is the fact that God needed to have both duality, and we needed to have the adversary play a role so that whatever side, whatever incarnation, okay, one life you play the healer. The next life, you play the murderer. This life, you play the victim. Next life, you are the victimizer. One life, you are Black. One life, you are white. One, you are Asian. One, you are South American. One, you are super rich. One, you are super poor. One, you're living in the Amazon rainforest with no clothes and no real, you're out there to win it chicken dinner. Next life, you are under the water. Whatever it is that you lived all these incarnations. You have come in and played both sides of the coin, good and evil, right and wrong. In all your incarnations, you started once you actualized knowing thyself, which is seeing yourself in the mirror and actually identifying with a human form, material form. That's their densities to acknowledgement of you have a self, right? That's their density. When you move into their density and you're the ape, you don't have a mirror to look in and go, oh, you see a reflection in with the water, but you're not identifying with self. We finally learned how to identify with self through the evolution of our avatar and our evolution. The adversary comes in to test our free will, to test our polarity. That's all that is to see what moral choices are you making in each and every one of the lives that you have lived. Even though you are the murderer in one life, doesn't mean the other lives that you lead are going to lead down that pathway. It was an experience God needed to have for you to learn from. We all mess up and do stupid shit in each one of our lives. You are the devil in someone's story. You are not liked by everybody. Does that make you evil? Does that make you what people deem as evil, sinful? Take a real bigger lens view of this entirety of all the lives you have lived, not just the one you're physically inhabiting now. Obviously, if you're in this one, you're listening to me right now, most likely you have chosen the light to fight for. You're fighting for the side of good. But that doesn't mean or make the evil side any better or any wrong. It's not wrong. It's God experiencing itself through a negative polarized entity. So yeah, you could take what they're saying, and I get it, but like, The plan of creation was infiltrated. Things happened because it is a free will, and people took advantage of that. But we're still being tested nonetheless, regardless of the aliens, the Nephilim, this one and that one and this thing and that thing. They're still a part of God's source plan. We wrote it into the coding. If you look at the video game. So please understand, this is on a whole new level. This book can go on to whole nother levels. Deeper, 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 deeper. And I am being urged to bring it out. That's why I brought the other book out. I think Hallel is over and done with, being called an inversion part of his holiness and archangelness. He's just a negative polarized form. It doesn't make him evil. That's the story that we all manifested and wrote in for him. It's not what he is. And unless you can remember the time that you are and have been with and amongst these beings, we have no say unless they channel through you. And I can tell you, Pamela Erlin is spot on with her Lilith, Yeshua, and Hallel channelings. Spot, F, and on. And the people that she works with in that video as well, I've seen other videos of that. And whenever I have been in trance, I'm very close to those two. Moving back to the book, I am sorry. The pacifist. For remember that God's plan is permanent peace, but not the peace at any price. Of the pacifist, for we see the divine law is that there can be permanent peace only when we all antagonism and inharmony be transmuted into harmony. Until this has taken place, we may cry peace, I, eternally, but there can be no peace. Saturn's fall. Therefore, while Saturn fell to earth in seeming rebellion, in reality, he was the light bearer. The lightning which pierced the contented darkness of earth conditions and made the expression of the light in that darkness. Think of it, an archangel from heaven giving up the bliss and happiness of his spiritual estate, that he might dispel the clouds of ignorance and bring to mankind the spiritual light. Just as a lightning stroke breaks up the storm cloud surged with electrical energy and brings to earth the purifying and energizing ozone of the upper strata of the air. Angel of Peace. The mighty struggle in Europe today seems to many of you but another angel fallen from your heaven world, namely the angel of civilization and of your higher ideals and Christ principles. Yet back of this fall, as the first angel, those of you who are patiently watching on the heights of the mountainside, keeping guard over the flocks of your thoughts and desires through this dark night, and who are straining your mental eyes in the black darkness of carnage, you will see that the angel is in reality the angel of permanent peace. Civilization requires harmony. You will see the civilization can never permanently endure until the angel of peace has penetrated into the clouds of inharmony and unbrotherliness which hung over humanity and shut out the light of the spiritual sun. Unlike a lightning stroke precipitated them as this great cloud burst of war. Only thus could the blackest night the world has ever seen respond to the same clarion cry. Glory to God in the highest, ye sons of men, for only thus can there be peace on earth and goodwill toward men. Women's initiative. Is men too busy with war to listen? Must he go blindly killing and be killed? Then it is women who must be the watcher on the mountainside to proclaim the vision. It must be the true womanhood of the race which must open a path through the dense atmosphere of carnage, that through it the angel of hosts can enter. Insist on manifestation. It must be true womanhood who through the din of battle must listen for the song of permanent peace and hearing it. With the faith and courage of her womanhood, prepare for and insist upon its manifestation. The bringer forth, only woman is equal to the occasion, for women's great gift is the power to bring forth. And only through the power of enlightened womanhood can the seeds bring sown in this terrible night of war during forth the fruits of permanent peace to the world, which is destined to follow the dark night of war. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think men as well as women who are intuitively going within and doing the work can do the same thing. Yeah, there's different balances, but I mean, and again, think about the time that this was written. It makes sense why it was written the way it does, but if we're looking in the now and the here and the now for us to start manifesting, if men are going in and doing the work and are in neutrality with their feminine and their masculine components, they too can do this. This is not just a woman's job or a role. This is not a man's just only role to go to war. Women are soldiers as well. We have to kind of take the division of masculine and feminine and do the homogenous thing. Just saying. Inoculate peace. To accomplish this, the women of the world should unite. There is work for all, not only those who can speak for peace, but every mother can radiate and inoculate peace and the peace ideal in the home, no matter to what country she may give her allegiance. Effect on children. Oh, this should be great. At this time, when the mental atmosphere of the world is infected with the antagonism and hatred, there is a tendency to let trifles disturb us, and we find it harder than usual to control our tempers. And since the sensitive nature of the child is quick to respond to the currents of thought force surrounding it, there is an increased tendency towards quarrelsomeness. The scientist tells us that even the ants, instead of making war for food or nest as formerly, now make war wantonly for the lust of fighting. Therefore, every person should be especially watchful to maintain peace within himself and in the household during the trying days. And guys, we have seen this during that period. And I'm going to tell you right now, with the situation I'm in, when there's disharmony in the whole household, it affects kids 20 times worse than you can even imagine. And they're not manifesting their feelings out towards you. They're going to do it outside of themselves, outside of the home. And sometimes those ugly things don't rear its head until they're older. What just happened to humanity in the last couple of years has really made some scar tissue and some damage on a lot of humanity's children. I don't care how evolved, awake their DNA is. They're still human, having a human experience, and we really need to make sure that they're dealing with their trauma, purging and expelling this nonsense carefully, and in all honesty, doing it with them. They might not have lived as long and has as much trauma and experiences that you might, but let me tell you, they're still going through shit that you know not, because they're not going to open it up to you. Just realize they've been through a lot. And they're still going through it because things are not normal the way their whole lives used to. And it depends when they were born. Please be mindful around your children. Ways of helping. There are many ways of helping to bring about permanent peace, and promise of the angel song can be fulfilled every day, and the women can hasten its fulfillment in the world by determining to live at peace within and with their neighbors and doing some definite work for the spread of the idea of permanent peace. This is hard for us. until more of us start waking up to the idea that we need to stop pointing fingers at groups and making fun. As much as it's great to have a good laugh and have a good joke, that's one thing. But when you really feel it in your heart to destroy and make fun and bully, oh, well, they did this, so it excuses your behavior and your words. Let God be that judge. Yes, you are source. But at the end of the totality and the infiniteness, let the infiniteness take care of that judgment of what they did, not what you did or what you said. We need to come to at one mint. That includes the negative polarized people. So why are you making fun of yourself? Why are you talking bad about yourself? That's all you're doing. We need to really understand what that at one mint really means and really start reflecting it in our emotions, our actions, and our words. It's not easy. Guys, I'm struggling. It's not easy. But this is something I'm being forced to learn, not in the most graceful ways. But it's working, it's happening, it's coming. It's getting there. Again, we're not perfect, and I give myself compassion and grace. And when I mess up, I release that and I forgive myself and I say sorry. But we really need to work on this. And this is again from 1917. Ways of helping. It's the ways of helping. The babe within. The babe whose birth was announced to mankind by the angelic chorus still lives in the sanctuary of each heart. But let us as a race determinately unwind the swaddling clothes that hide him from our sight and no longer keep him in the manger where the animal desires go to feed. Let us proclaim him at the right hand of God, to whom we give glory to the highest. Only so can the prophecy be wholly fulfilled in humanity. Man's destiny. Therefore, our work for permanent peace on earth must be carried on along the lines of God's plan. We do not have to think out a plan or our own to seek for something new, which may be so utopian that it cannot be accomplished. Instead, we must take courage and be supremely confident, for permanent peace is the destiny of mankind and cannot fail ultimately to materialize. Yet since man is God's vicegerent on earth, he can do much to hasten the day of the ultimate permanent peace, just as in the ages past, he has done much to retard its manifestation. The heavens open. Even as we stand appalled at the devastation and ruin of this storm of war, let us lift ourselves and our thoughts to God, see the heavens open and glimpse the divine plan. Though we be sore afraid, so we behold a multitude of the heavenly hosts and hear amidst the thunders of war the angelic voices singing glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. A new day coming. Thus we realize that this terrible war is but another step toward the fulfillment of a new day for humanity, the great sixth day, and this on the morrow shall abide forever in God's permanent peace. I'm going to leave that one right where that is. Because I ranted a lot. Very necessary rantings. Guys, this is not easy. This is not easy work. But we all were tasked to wake up early. Knock, knock. You know the truth. Your interpretation of this vibratory state of truth. And then when you increase your awareness and you get expanded, oh, the truth shifts and everything else looks completely different. because the vibratory state of that interpretation changes. Once you get out of the Bible, once you get out of that, and once you move into the understanding of what good and evil really is, that you should be feeding both wolves on the side of you. Not to say you feed the devil, as you got to feed what side you want to work with first, but sometimes you got to pacify the side of yourself. Can't neglect your shadow. You can't neglect that other aspect of you. We all have it. When you ignore it, you don't heal and solve the problems that are on that side of you, that aspect of you. When you can really go in and know both sides of you and all your flaws and come to an agreement with yourself that you're going to use that side for its betterment to outmaneuver the negative polarized entities, you need your shadow. You need to be there to put your boundaries up. Not everything on the light is that good either. Please. What you got to weigh everything out. And the only way you're going to do that is going within yourself and doing the work. Understanding what is being given to you. Like everything that I have read, all these books, all the videos, everything that I get from my external outside world, I bring it into my heart space. I sit with it. I think about it. I weigh things out. I then deduct, okay, does this make sense to that? Does this make, I connect my own dots. And only after I do some of that other thinking and resonating, going in my heart, do I bring it forth into actualization and manifestation. I was never tied down to religion. That's why when I really first heard people channeling hello, then understanding what that energy was, and then realizing that's the energy that's been working with me, I wasn't scared. People always inflicted that, oh, you're the evil one, you're working with that thing. Freaking entity is freaking beyond ridiculously intelligent. And once you understand your role here and that you are playing a role, you are having an experience God is having through you, that you wrote this script, that's game changing. The veil starts lifting. You start remembering the other aspects that you played in other lives. And some of those lives are concurrent with right now. You're multidimensional. There's a lot of things you're going to start finding and discovering about yourself. You got to bring the harmony within your heart first in order for it to manifest out here. You can't do that when you're blaming everybody outside of yourself for everything going on without looking within and looking at yourself in the mirror. And again, it's not to point a finger to make you feel bad. It's to say, okay, whoa, I can't say love and light in one aspect and say these people are horrible. It's not easy. You have to know they're a part of you. They are a part of you. So when you're bashing them, and they do the same thing because they don't like this side. They don't like the light. They don't like truth. They don't like people pointing out their failures or their missed shortcomings. Humanity is very intricate and very manipulated. People are programmed. We are all purging those programs as we speak. This is the hardest aspect about the purge. We are purging what no longer serves us, and that's all the programming, indoctrination, and all that it comes with being taught a specific way of being and having our knowing. Once you start walking that middle way path, things will start opening up for you a lot faster and a lot more. I need more people to join my bandwagon. There's not many of us that really understand the totality of that, and it doesn't end. I'm in the beginning stages of understanding divine neutrality. And that's because my guides are slow walking me through this experience, because everybody else around me is still on the hate and pointing fingers and dividing. So until we can bring everything into merging into the oneness, even if it is negative and they eat babies and do horrible things, okay, yes, this life they chose to have those experiences. And you know what? In 3 lives ago, that's probably what many of us have done. Does that make you bad? That's just an experience that you needed to have soul growth. Think about it. Your subconscious, your HHT, going back and looking and revising your other lives, they're not going to reveal the ones that you did heinous things unless your soul really needs you to know about it. They only give you the information. Your higher self only gives you the information that is permanent to this life. If those lives are just having you go through an experience that was really good, it needed to be there for a reason. You wrote that script for yourself, so you wrote that in. These people are playing that role this lifetime. We're playing the side of the light. Just weigh it out. That's all I'm asking. Because the plan is going to go on without a hitch, regardless. But I would like more people to start manifesting those beautiful things that we all want and we all can have, but it all starts within, and not enough of us are doing that kind of work. More people are starting to. So guys, Beyond the Veil, Morning Star, Channeling Archangel Lucifer by Penelope Badger. Highly recommend. Very short read, but very recommended. And the little passages, the little tiny snippets that I read were the most impactful ones. And there's one I really can't find it. Really love it. Go watch if you're on my Telegram or on my private Facebook. A lot of people can find me there. If you just message me and say I'm from YouTube or from wherever, I'll usually accept you and as a friend. I just post spiritual stuff anyway. I did post the other day 2 channelings from Pamela Ehrlin. You can go to her channel and find Yeshua and Halal. Halal and Lilith is also a freaking fantastic channelings. It gives you another perspective to open your mind and hearing his language, how he's talking. And other channels and the things that I have read sound very similar, personalized because that's the person channeling. But the language and the diction and the verbiage is usually spot on. That's how I know a channel is consistent and an entity is consistent. Ra and Quo sound like Ra and Quo through all the people that they channel. It's specific diction and verbiage that they use that it's them. They have a signature to them. They have a frequency no matter who they're channeling through. Again, Archangel Halal has worked through and with me. It's one of my biggest, source works through me in a very big way, and so does the archangels. and they all come in through me. They don't tell me which one. I can usually pick up and get a sense of who's channeling through me as I'm doing these things. But I have so many damn guides, the energy gets mishmashy. But I know in a couple of my past lives when I'm getting visions, it's coming from him. Does that make me evil? Am I evil? I work with the light. I work with source. And so do many of you. And you have to accept that. You have to come into the realization of that for yourself. It's all just an experience. All of it. Are we ready to move on with humanity into this peace? Or are we going to allow it to keep manifesting? Because that's what it is right now. We're in a perpetual loop. We're looping, as Linda Good McGillis would say. We're in humanity looping. We need to end this loop. So more of us need to get on it. Sending each and every one of you love, light, protection, shielding, grace, and compassion. I love you guys. I really do. And please know that I'm speaking from my heart. I don't waste my energy on bullshit. I really don't. I'm exhausted. The last week and a half has been very exhausting. There's a lot coming in. Everybody's getting it. I can't keep my eyes open, and I went to sleep at like 9 o'clock yesterday. I never sleep at 9 p.m. Ever. Ever. I was that exhausted. Guys, get your rest, drink a lot of water, put the vibe out there. And again, right now, it's not easy. If things start, it's not about the triggering. You know, people think, oh, well, someone's triggering you, it's something to heal. Well, for me, it's, I have compassion, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings that are not ready to move forward just yet in their thinking. I'm not, again, the people who are watching me and that are listening to my words and really taking them in, you know that I'm not here to steer you in a, you are going to go in your heart space to see what I'm saying is right or wrong for you. When I'm in a chat and we're moving spiritually, we're evolving, but we're not there yet. And there's just so much hate and so much blame. And I like the jokes, so jokes are great, but at some point I gotta walk away, because I am not going to sit there and hurt anybody's feelings. Don't want to do that. We're not there yet, and that's okay. We're getting there. For now. So guys, please check out my website. Please, if you're interested, email me for anything. My email's been wonky. Again, I do apologize to some people. I'm getting to like physically see them. I might have to change and make a different bounce off email, because it's driving me nuts. And then I get a shit ton of spam that I keep putting out, like, this is not, please stop. And I'm not seeing things, and then all of a sudden it pops up like I haven't read something for 5 days. Well, I never had it in the first place. So I do apologize, guys. I do have gremlins. People are trying to attack, but that's okay. I am heavily protected. And you know what? Divine timing with everything. So please keep that in mind. I'm one person. I don't have anybody helping me. It's just me. So I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of the week. Please, for those in my area and all up north, please stay warm. It is probably I just want to know what today is. 17 degrees. Real feel 5. I'm going to see if I can find little Thor and try to get him inside. So guys, I love you all. Please be safe, be seen, and I'll see you on the next one.